Hello and welcome to At the Helm with Edwin and Kelly. This is a complete change of pace for us. We're not going to talk about anything complicated or virus related today.
Please.
For God's sakes, enough. And what we're going to do is, since you and I have both been doing MWR tours for years, we thought it'd be fun to introduce and get to know some members of the Navy, and more importantly, Navy musicians, actual real musicians.
Yeah. So I would like to start off with what I think is probably the most pertinent question right now that I'm sure everyone that's watching is, Cory, how in the world are you getting away with that hair?
All right, so this is Cory Parker, musician first class Cory Parker. And now please give us the answer to the hair.
So the short, quick answer is it's actually technically within regs. We get to have 2 inches in bulk, so that's cool. But also the Navy during this time of the coronavirus, we've been allowed to. The government has relaxed grooming standards to a certain extent, but this is within regulations.
Let me tell you, if I didn't have 40 pounds of hair gel in my hair, you would be shocked right now with what's going on.
He still has to shave his back.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. So, all right, well, let's get all right. And we also have Bill Edwards here. This is Kelly, one of your homeboys, Bowie, Maryland.
What?
Bowie? Yeah.
Bowie?
Bowie, yeah, not Bowie.
Bowie. He's like, he thinks David still lives there. It's all right.
Whatever. People can't say my hometown either.
I thought David Bowie was David Bowie for like the first 20 years of my life.
Don't ever tell anybody that again, son.
I didn't know. I know.
He wouldn't have cared. All right. So wait a second. Let's go with you, Bill. All right. So when you joined the Navy, did you join specifically to play music as well, or did you just join the Navy and then the music thing came along?
Yeah. How does one become a Navy musician?
Well, I think Cory and I definitely had 2 very different routes into the Navy music program. But I enlisted specifically to be a musician, and so I auditioned. Is that right, Cory? Did you come in? Did you do? Okay, great. So I'm not speaking out of turn, but yeah. So I auditioned specifically to join the Navy to be a musician. So I won a spot with the United States Navy Band in DC first, and then I went to my recruiter and I said, I've got a job, and here's a letter saying this is going to be my job, and all you need to do is help me fill out the paperwork. And yeah, so then I went to boot camp, but I was 30 at the time, so I was definitely a little older than the average enlistee. So.
What's Navy boot camp like?
I mean, it's the same as so the boot camp that I went to in Great Lakes, it's the same boot camp that the rest of the Navy goes through. But yeah, Navy boot camp, it is a lot of attention to detail, and it's a bit of a grind, but it's supposed to be to get everybody working together as a team.
So how are you able to practice? And one, I'm gonna ignore the fact that you bit your tongue in half when you talked about your age, and I bit my tongue in half for the question I was going to ask, but instead I'm going to ask you how did you focus on practicing and doing everything you had to do at basic to get through?
I mean, they gave us time to. So there's actually recruits that form a band and a choir, and they perform at every graduation at boot camp. Mm-hmm. And so I was lucky to be in the choir, and so as part of that, you get to rehearse and sing a little bit, like 1 day a week. But I wasn't singing in our compartment, because that would have gotten me a smackdown.
Well, I actually have used some of you guys on some guys from the Navy band have actually played on a couple of my records.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Like, were they active duty at the time?
Yeah.
Nice.
Unless that gets somebody in trouble, then no, they weren't.
Then no, they weren't.
No,
so I mean, we're allowed to gig on the side, but the Navy gig takes precedence, you know.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't.
Yeah,
They didn't call in sick or anything to do my show.
No.
Corey, I swear, if you don't stop moving.
Corey.
I'm not trying to. It's this thing is just messing up on its own. I'm sorry, guys.
Corey's at sea right now.
I'm sorry. I'm really not trying to steal the thing here. I'm just taking it off. I'm sorry.
No. So I'm curious, Corey. What was your path into Navy music?
So as Bill said, mine is a little different. I came in and the first 4 years I served, I was on the aircraft carrier as a fuels technician. So I pumped
Which
gas. USS Kitty Hawk out in Japan.
Been on that.
Oh, you have been there? Okay, all right. Who y'all? That's what I'm talking about. All right. So I did the first 4 years on there doing that, and then it actually took me about 5 auditions to get in. First 3 auditions as a I know, right? Wasn't because I couldn't sing. You know, I'm a singer, so it wasn't that. And they told me that every time. First 3 auditions was a civilian, and they were like, yeah, you know, you can't really sight read well, and you can't do scales and stuff. So, just keep trying, and this is what we need you to do. And then, so I just decided to join the Navy anyway because I wanted to start a career. I wanted to have a career. And the 2 more auditions, I finally won what we call the Fleet Band auditions, which, as you know, Washington, D.C. is the premier band, the presidential staff unit. And so that's pretty much the story. So after 5 auditions, finally got into the Fleet Band. They sent me off to the school, and I was, as Adam mentioned earlier, then I went to New Orleans band, then won the audition for D.C. So that's it. It's been great. It's been a great journey. I'm very appreciative.
That's awesome.
So wait a minute, what was more fun, Kitty Hawk or New Orleans?
Oh man, you know New Orleans. Kitty Hawk was fun too, though.
Don't lie.
Come on, New Orleans.
Don't lie. So did you ever go to the Maple Leaf?
Once, maybe twice. Yeah.
Do you see
If
Ivan
he asked
Neville?
what military groupies look like, I'm hanging up on him.
No, come on, man. And Ivan Neville is a friend of mine, and so he plays at the Maple Leaf all the time. So that's
really? Okay.
Yeah. He was on a record I did, a soul record that I did. I can't remember. It was probably 2008, and he came and played all over that record. But it's terrible having Ivan on a record because I got him to sing some backgrounds, but the backgrounds are so much better than my leads. It was awful. You can't tuck him in there. It's still awesome. He's still great at everything he does. But
and I think Aaron Neville's sister plays there too, right? Right in the Garden District there.
That's kind of their joint, right? They kind of have first dibs on all the gigs there. Now, did you gig around New Orleans when you were living there?
I did. We had a band that was comprised of Navy band folks. We went and gigged out on our own at a place called Funky 544 on Bourbon Street. And we did that for about a whole year, gigging on Bourbon Street on our off time.
Now I'm going to ask you the hard question. Did you ever go to Snake and Jake's?
No, I never heard of that.
Okay, then you're not an alcoholic. Okay, good. That's good.
Let me ask, since we're talking about
that's
touring,
good. So now
I
I
got a
don't fit the
question.
sailor stereotype. That's good.
Right. Oh, don't worry. I'll get the stereotypes. You don't know me. Anyway.
It's not that show, Kelly. It's not that show.
Sorry. Look,
sidebar.
Since we all talking about touring, though, I did have a question that I thought was interesting, and that was, how do you guys make it work being stationed in different places? And we know, Edwin and I can tell you all about living our lives as a traveling musician, but how do you do it in the military and being a traveler? I mean, I don't know, how do you juggle both of those lives? I mean,
Bill,
clearly, Corey, you failed out of barbering school, so you must have come up with some ideas.
Well, thank you, Stevie Wonder. I appreciate it.
Hold on, I got to pull it back further. I ain't got enough for
There
you.
you go. If you really love. All right. Bill, did you want to catch that one about touring?
Oh, I thought you were going to show him your Stevie Wonder impression from last year. He did.
Edwin,
Corey, if you haven't seen any videos, Corey is like a top-notch front man for the band. Like, he gets down front and the crowd goes wild. And we did like a huge Stevie Wonder medley last summer, and he was amazing. So,
when we wrap this all up, I'll tell you my Stevie Wonder story when we opened up for him the opening of Baltimore Ravens Stadium. It's a great story, but we probably shouldn't tell that.
I want to hear that. I want to hear that. Sidebar number 2. I want to hear that.
So, for touring, we tour, like we are mostly in the DC area throughout the year. We do occasional 2 or 3 day trips out of the DC area. We do one long national tour a year, which is about 3 to 4 weeks. And then the rest of the time we're in DC. So, because we're here to support Arlington National Cemetery and the White House and any ceremonies and anything that comes in for the DC region. So it's actually one of the reasons why I specifically wanted to be in the DC band, because I was kind of gigging around before this and had a very unstable life, and everything's in storage for 6 months while I go do something here. And I was just kind of tired of that. So I really wanted that stability. So that's, yeah.
Same question, Cory.
Yeah.
For touring, no, I mean, yeah, he pretty much said it all.
Have any of you ever played at the NSA lunchroom?
At Fort Meade? Oh, no.
Because I have. I played the lunchroom at the NSA, and it's not who you think it is. Everybody thinks it's like Will Smith in there, like Men in Black and stuff. It's not. It's your mom's friends.
It actually probably was.
How do you know his mom's friends?
It probably was my mom.
That's who they look like.
There.
They look like my mom and her friends, except for instead of playing Scrabble, they're on computers looking for Bin Laden.
I got
Kelly,
that.
don't do it, Kelly. Don't do it.
I got to. I can't let off the hook with that. No, but I got that one beat though. At Fort Meade, I probably wrestled there 10 times when I was a professional wrestler. I jumped off a balcony and went through my own merch table.
Oh, snap.
At Fort Meade, you know, it's not governed by the state athletic commission, so we could do anything we want, and we did.
Kelly was a professional wrestler as well as a musician.
Dang, different time.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you've done everything. That's amazing.
So,
No, I should have stayed in college is what I should have done.
Nah, that sounds like a better life.
What I should have done is gone to the military and been in the military band.
Let me ask you this. Cory, did you ever trap onto the aircraft carrier? Did you ever fly plane land?
Yeah. I did one time. Yeah, I did.
Was it the scariest moment for you?
Mixed emotions. I won't go too deep into it, but I had pneumonia and almost died on the aircraft carrier. I'm dead. I almost said I'm dead serious. Yeah, I am very serious. So
were you
they
traveling with patient zero?
Oh Lord! Oh Lord, Kelly. He taking it there, man. He taking it there. No, these cats, they flew me off. I went to the hospital out there in Japan, and 9 days later, I got all this stuff out. Then they flew me back on. But I mean, as far as the experience, I mean, when I finally came back and I was healthy, yeah, it was pretty scary. It's pretty intense to just drop and hit the deck, and you feel like you're going to hit the water. You're going to go through the ship.
I told a friend of mine, I said, the only way to describe it is if you got in a 15-passenger van and you backed off the 3rd floor of a parking deck.
Yeah.
That's what that landing is. And the thing about it is, and no offense to the Navy, and I tell you, I leave it up to you guys to decide, but the C-2, the COD, like that airplane is state-of-the-art 1963. I mean, it's like it's held together with chewing gum and rivets. And I mean, I was like, I've been in canoes that are sturdier than this. Smash this onto the deck of an aircraft carrier. And sure, yeah, that's what we're doing. I was like, okay, why not? Let's do that. So get some new airplanes, maybe.
Let me ask you a question.
I said it, Karen.
I'm wheeling my crazy friend back in here, which is funny because usually the roles are reversed. He's usually the straight man, and I'm the one that's out of control, if you can believe that. But the craziest gig that you ever played. Now, look, craziest gig, best gig, worst gig. You can take any or all 3. You first.
Who's going first?
Which one?
The white guy.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Take it away, Walt Disney.
I mean, are we talking about pre-Navy?
No. You gotta be honest. They're not gonna do anything to you now.
I was gonna say
way.
no,
You've been
because
too long, man. You've been in too
he's
long.
digging
You
at
can't do
my
anything.
pre-Navy job because I was working for Disney
He did
before
work for Disney.
That's great.
I don't know. The craziest gig probably for me was the first Obama inauguration. We sang the anthem, and we were up on these giant bleachers, like looking down at the platform where he was getting sworn in, and then just had this clear view of the mall, the National Mall, going all the way down. So, yeah, we had like the best seat in the house.
Wow.
That's
So
amazing.
that one,
Yeah, that's dude. You at parties, you just wait. You just wait.
Right, right.
Wait. Let
It's like
everybody tell
story
their
draw
little
four
Stevie
card.
Wonder story. Just let them
Right.
tell. Oh, the one time they met John Entwistle from The Who.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. I sang it. I was on the Obama inauguration.
Winner.
Bam.
that was pretty great. Yeah.
What's the worst gig? Clear whatever
I'm
that
not
is.
gonna
That is a
say
hard one.
exactly where it was, but there was a performance that we were doing for someone, and we were basically in there, performing for a party, and their dog came out and did its business right in front of us as we were.
That's great.
So we were
That's
like,
nothing.
we just kept rolling.
That's
I know
nothing.
it's nothing, but I was like, I tried not to take it personally. My dog cries when I sing here when I'm practicing at home, so
My dog will
All
come.
right.
If I pick up a guitar, she flees. My dog hates guitar for some reason. I don't know why. Corey, all right, you give us
It's in the air.
yours.
Go ahead, Corey.
Best one, I would say, for best location. I mean, we've all done the sporting event thing, so those are pretty cool. This recent one, July 4th, Navy Band, Air Force, and Army had the opportunity, and Marines, sorry, the President's own band, were at the White House for July 4th. So that's one of the best
That's a
gigs
big deal.
ever. That's a big deal. We're there for like 2 days straight and everything, so that was cool. Now, Bill, I'm surprised this one probably it didn't occur to you, but I know you and I are going to agree that this is the worst gig
Oh no.
that we've both done. You ready for
Oh,
it? Adam,
okay.
don't shout me down. Don't shout me down. This is not
Okay.
bad. It is what it is. So we have this gig in Manassas, Virginia. Bill, you know what this is. Manassas,
comes.
Virginia. And it's under it's like a pavilion, but
In the winter, it's a skating rink. It's a skating rink.
Right.
I have played there.
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, Kelly.
Go
So
ahead.
there's a train track. There's a train station, an Amtrak station right there. So, we get on a gig lasts about an hour and a half or so, or a little less. And we get towards the patriotic numbers, like we play God Bless USA, or God Bless America, or whatever it is that the sea chanters are singing. And sure enough, on the quietest tune, Eternal Fathers.
Oh, it's always the most tender part of the program. We're like, and now a tribute to our veterans or the fallen, and the commuter train comes through. That's exactly what it starts. Bing, 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 bing.
That's fantastic.
I can
still
see
nothing.
y'all's relationship is a lot like me and Kelly. Like, it seems like Corey has a catalog and has remembered every embarrassing moment you've ever had and can bring it up at will. That's funny how that works, Kelly.
Yeah. You're like that too?
It's like a
remember it all?
superpower. Kelly remembers all kinds of stuff from the 90s, and I cleared that hard drive when I went to rehab. So this is like, but Kelly remembers all of it. I don't get away with any of it. Hey, remember that one time?
But he lets me embarrass him, so it's all right. We have a good relationship.
So, all right. So that's the worst gig. And the best gig was the White House. How was the food at the White House? I've always figured the food at the White House is on point.
Can't answer it, huh?
Not so much, huh? Can't say anything, huh?
A lot of boiled potatoes.
Yeah. when we're playing at a place like that, we are not getting the meal that the guests are getting.
Yeah, that happens to us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the kitchen and the catering section. I got you. So let me ask you a question now.
Hey, did you ever play at the Bayou? Did you ever play the Bayou? So the Lois, what was her name? Lois, wasn't it Lois that ran the place? I can't remember. She was so stingy. Like you got one bottle of water and an apple, and that was it.
Oh dang!
And the dressing room was upstairs in the back.
For the whole band.
Bruh.
So we were like, okay, who gets the apple?
So look, I have a question. I hope you guys can answer it. I understand that, you know, doing the Navy gig, a lot of it is probably not unlike being in kind of a wedding band. And I'm not saying that in a negative sense, because you know who to hire when you need a situation, when you have a situation that you want somebody to play hits and things to be familiar to everyone that's there. So how do you feel as musicians? How do you feel originals versus covers? Is you know, doing original music, is that a need for you guys? Is that something that you need to, you know, to make yourself feel a certain kind of way, like a whole musician? Or is it just, you know, I'm okay with going in there and playing the charts and just making people happy, and that brings me the peace that I feel like I need? Or is it some kind of combination? That's for both of you.
That's an excellent question, Bill. I don't know if you mind.
That's because I'm brilliant, son.
Oh yeah, go first.
I would say the latter part of what you said. I think it's a combination, but also for me personally, it's about making people happy. Every gig is about the person. We got these talents, we got these gifts, whether it be music, whether it be a doctor, whether it be a firefighter, policeman, it doesn't matter what you do. You got these gifts, and it's for the people. So that's the way I look at it. Anytime we have the opportunity to make someone happy with our voice, with our instruments, no matter whose song it is, I think it's important. So for me, it's that. Is as far as original compositions, yeah, it's great to do that. As far as it being a necessary thing for personal satisfaction or personal appeasement, no. Would it be nice to do it? Yeah, but I personally don't need to do one of my own songs. I have the band, do it. I'm fine with just making folks happy.
And that's an awesome answer. And that's, that's a lot of musicians don't consider themselves to be real musicians if they're just playing other people's music. And I'm like, there are so many wonderful songs out there. What are you talking about? So I really do appreciate you saying that, And I was wondering whether somebody would. Bill, what do you think?
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I assign myself projects on the side. Like I've done some arranging. We're in different units within the band. I'm in the choir. So sometimes I've arranged stuff for the choir to do, and I've adapted like a pop song so that our choir could do it, kind of like a Glee kind of version. But before I joined the Navy, when I was working for Disney, like I wasn't doing my original stuff, and I wasn't doing, I was doing the same show all the time, and a lot of the same music. And so, transition to the Navy band, and it's part of the gig. We do a lot of the same music over and over again. We're always going to do the anthem. We're always going to do Eternal Father. We're always going to do something patriotic. And so that kind of stuff gets recycled a lot. And for me, the challenge is not like, am I artistically satisfied? I think my artistic satisfaction comes from, can I do this music again and make it feel like it's the first time for myself, for the audience, and kind of,
that's brilliant, and there's merit in that.
I always get to that point in the set with in the channel, in the home stretch where you're playing all the ones everybody knows, and you
have to play your hit. I always think to
myself, I want to try to play this like it's the first time anybody here's ever heard it, right? Yeah. And you want to and it's the first rule. It's the first rule. Give the people what they want, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember we used to play shows with B.B. King a long time ago, and he said, if an audience isn't on, that's on you. Like, if you haven't figured out how to get to them, that's on you. Like, and I don't know if you feel the same way. I like those nights that are challenging. Like, I like it when everybody's happy to see me. That's great. But I really like the ones where it's not really your audience, or it's awkward, or it's like, how are you going to sell this? Like, I really like those, because it, like, you're behind the 8 ball, right? I've just walked into a hostile situation, not hostile, but you know what I'm saying? Like, where everybody's like, what? No, I don't care about this. And then if you can win them, you've done some, right? It's easy to walk out there when everybody's happy to see you.
Right. You can be cheap and go out and say the name of the town, and it's great. But my favorite spot, and our thing, the Kelly Bell Band does like 95% festivals, and I can tell you, my favorite spot is either second from the end or right from the end. Never. I don't like closing, even though we have to do it a lot just because of the popularity of the band. But honestly, I'd rather go on like before
middle.
Or it's the show stealing spot, because if you're playing a festival and you've got, people have been sitting out there watching 10 or 15 bands all day on multiple stages. Now they're waiting for the headliner to come up. And if the headliner plays the hit early, you could sure enough believe by halfway through their set, even though they're the headliner, half the crowd is going to be gone. Sure. Just because pure exhaustion just from being out there all day. Yeah. But if you're playing next to last or third from last, everybody that got there late is there for your set, and everybody that's waiting to see the first few songs of the headliner because they've waited all day, they're there. So you literally have the biggest audience. So I'm like Edwin, I appreciate the challenge in that moment, because if you put them in front of us, we know what to do with you.
Let me ask you guys this: what would you recommend for up and coming musicians? How would you encourage them to consider the Navy path for music?
It was something that I hadn't strongly considered. I grew up in the DC area. I knew there were military bands here, but I kind of always thought for some reason that it wasn't for me. Like I didn't have the right voice. And, but once I kind of started looking into it, I was like, oh, they do a lot of different music. And I like to sing a lot of different music, and that really spoke to me. And so that's kind of why I looked into it. As far as training, like if you're an up and coming musician, then like diversify, like do as many different genres as you can, and try to learn. If you're a singer, sing as many different genres as you can healthily. It never hurts to learn to sight read. It never hurts to learn another instrument, because you're always going to double. Cory is an amazing pianist. We'll do a gig, and he's always off in the corner, like tickling the ivories and just singing his heart out. I only sing. I'm terrible. But
do you do any go-go music, being from DC?
No, but I do know Chuck Brown, and I fell in with Chuck Brown because of Ava Cassidy. So that's kind of how I.
He does impersonations.
Awesome. I was lucky enough to know both of them.
Sorry, what?
Wow.
I was lucky enough to know both of them, Eva and Chuck. So Eva was amazing.
Crazy. She actually grew up around around the corner from me in Bowie, and my uncle taught her in elementary school. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cory.
Well, guys,
I had a random comment.
Guys, we want to thank you very much for being a part of this, and hopefully we'll be able to get up to DC to see you guys perform, and maybe I'll make sure to
next time we play the Birchmere, get you guys up there. Hopefully.
I was so, I need
definitely want to shout out Navy Entertainment, the Navy Exchange, and MWR, and for everything that they do. And for you guys, man, I can tell you, and I know I speak for my brother Edwin when I say we have been in many, many countries for many years working with the same organizations that I just mentioned. And we could not be more proud of what you do for us. And I think in this crazy, trying time, it's accentuated even more than ever before. And hopefully there's a young kid, male or female, that's watching this right now, and in somewhere in their mind, they're thinking, hey, I can serve my country and still get to be a great musician on top of that. And know that you two had a part of that today. So
thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Edwin.
Yeah. Right on, man. Peace to you.
Yeah.
Yep. Fair winds and following seas.
At the Helm.